still on?
It's going. Do you have yesterday's submissions?
I have the FIPA one. I do not have the PETA one because I gave it to the PETA department.
Okay.
But because we have 4 different acts here, so ultimately each area is specialties under those acts.
Okay.
So I work under the Ombudsman Act, so if you want anything about PETA or FIPA or anything like that, I'm the representative, but I give it to the other departments.
Okay. Could I ask you for photo employment ID here for your photo? Do you have photo ID?
I do, but we don't give that out, so I don't.
How am I to determine? Because well, I mean that's up to you. I put it on my request,
I do see
right?
that.
So this is I am here today for a FIPA.
Okay. So
It's pretty simple. It's for who's ever. I left a message with Allison I forget how to say her last name. And I think that's it. I remember you mentioning that there was a PETA letter.
Yes, and I just confirmed today that it is being worked on. In our last conversation, I did say it is the end of May, but they are still working on that response. So I apologize for the delay there, but they're still working on that.
Okay. That being said, I'm discovering a lot of forgery here, a lot of fraud. Wherever I go, I'm being intercepted at Manitoba Government and Justice.
Okay.
The people intercepting me are all named Karen or Lori. That's my mother's name.
Okay.
I'm suspicious about the email address that I brought up to you about Ombudsman.
Right.
There's just several other things. That's why I asked you for ID. The Manitoba government and Canadian government have been sending me unsigned and forged documents. They're misusing the Canada Post. Same with the Justice Department. So unconcerned politicians and justice officials at this point are influencing a lot of this. Many of the government agencies or offices are, how would you say that? They're not signing their documents they're sending me.
Okay. And is this, are you highlighting what you're submitting today, or?
Yeah, this has to do with the Manitoba Health Department. Essentially, someone's forging documents on behalf of the Minister's Office for Manitoba Health, and.
Are you recording this?
No, I'm not. No, that's why I checked when I had it. It was on. My light was on.
Okay.
So I had put this in for a FIPA application. I sent it. I attended the legislative building myself.
Okay.
They referred it to this legislative unit based off of Carlton Street. They're attempting to send me electronic signed letters, copy paper letters. That's not proper. You can't prove who's sending those. Same with Cormy in this office. I noticed that all the government agencies, same with the City of Winnipeg, they are all doing the same thing. And if you look at all my documents, I have quite a bit, they all started doing it at the same time. So everything that's being sent to me is not signatured, it's electronic signature.
Okay.
And they're trying to argue saying that's okay. That is not okay because we cannot prove who's making those signatures, right?
Well,
I'm being
whoever
refused.
would be approving the letter before that electronic signature would go on that.
Yeah, but you cannot prove with definity if that's someone else behind that computer. Signatures, I mean, it's law. It's been with us as long as we can remember, right? That's how you prove who's signing documents. So Cormier, he took the same stance. He's denying my FIPA applications to obtain these records. Did you see that?
Well,
he's taking the position.
Those 2 letters, yeah.
Yeah, hold on. He's obstructing justice right now. Like, I care what anyone says. The only way for me to get these records to proceed with either criminal complaints or civil litigation suits or claims is for me to get these records. And Cormier is outright preventing me from doing this. He's taking the stance that I'm trying to investigate criminal matters. Okay. I'm not investigating. I'm making criminal complaints. And if you need evidence to support your allegations, then coming to the Ombudsman office and asking to go through the government to get the records that they put me in jail with, that's pretty reasonable.
So when you submit your documents through the police department and the justice department and all of that, are you keeping your copies?
Oh yeah. It's I would imagine that the government, at least the justice, probably Manitoba government, are going to be investigated for fraud and probably, trafficking and manufacturing forged government documents. It's very overwhelming. So with that being said, I just thought I'd let you know that I'm going to be making allegations on the office here as well for Cormier not signing documents, basically acting as an accessory to Justice Department and police corruption. We spoke about this many times, right?
Right.
So with that being said, Laura, on the phones, I don't accept emails anymore.
Okay.
Again, there's a lot of suspicious activity. Laura is the only person from this office who sent me an email that had a Manitoba government identification with the email, proving that it was a government email. The ones that I've been receiving from Nancy Love, Rosalind Allman, a few others, without signatures or verifications or Manitoba government IDs, they're denying my complaints on those emails. That's also illegal, I believe. The legislation states you have to write your complaints on paper. So when these, the ombudsman, law courts, wherever, right, they're just trying to tell me, no, we're not going to follow that part. You got to send it through email.
Right.
You cannot
The
prove.
last couple of correspondences that we made were by mail, correct?
Correct, but they weren't. They were electronically signed, meaning.
Okay.
I mean, even though it says Cormier, and I mean, he can very well stand by it, but it's the fact that no one can prove who's actually signing these documents. I'm alleging, fraud within the government asset misappropriation of salaries.
Right.
And that would be the motive for all the forging and manufacturing of these documents.
So when we do electronic signatures, the individual who has the signature on there has reviewed the document, but they don't have the time to sign all of the documents. So that's why there's a signature that's in a...
That doesn't make sense, because when you photocopy them, print it out the way it was printed out, you go to the back page and you just printed it out, you review it quickly, you put them down, you sign them like most people do. The government trying to insert that electronic signatures is an okay procedure. No, that's helping the government commit major fraud on the government institutions, yeah. So when you can't prove who you are, or you're signing documents for other people when they sent you letters, but they refuse to provide their signature, I'm concerned I'm being, not defrauded, but I'm being victimized from fraud, government fraud.
So when we are talking about if you want a response, if there's any new complaints, like as we mentioned in our letter, if there's, we have the authority to not respond if we feel that there is no investigation needed. But if you wanted it, you'd want it to be mailed to your address at 101 Lorne Avenue? Is that Lorne?
Well, that's my address for now.
Okay.
I'm more into personally picking up the materials myself.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd rather do that. I feel my mother, Karen Hastings, may be participating and assisting police and government in concealing the criminal activity involved in my case here.
Okay.
I honestly believe that there's just Cormier, Bowman, probably political, municipal, whatever, officials doing this at this point. I'm being banned from the Winnipeg City Hall for no reason. The Winnipeg Police Board are denying my complaints against the police chief because they feel that it's inappropriate. That's not up to you. You send it to the Justice Minister. And wherever I send my complaints, when I go to the legislature, they refer them to these offices. And in those offices, those buildings, there's former attorneys that I'm concerned. Like, so I come here, or I go to the legislature, I sent this to the minister because it was an assistant deputy minister that signed off on it. They referred back to this unit. I'm not getting any signatures. And then they're telling me I have to send everything to them. And when I voice my concern that, hey, you guys are not signing your documents, you're not following procedures, so I'm just concerned that everyone's just not following the laws here, kind of deal.
Okay.
I understand you guys, what you guys do have the authority to disregard complaints, right? But what you don't, the authority you don't have to do is to act as an accessory to obvious corruption within the police and government. So if Mark Cormier and the ombudsman staff, you guys, I have all my documents. If you know criminal offenses are being committed, and you guys turn around and say, you want to know what? Even though we do know this, even though that is a criminal whatever. We have the authority not to investigate it, and we're not. Well,
But we've spoken about this before. A lot of your evidence that you state is evidence is more hearsay than actual documentation. and-
No, when I go to the police station and they refuse to process my complaints, all of that's obstruction of justice. If I'm making criminal complaints and they're saying no, and I'm trying to tell you guys, hey, I'm going there and I made a complaint against Chief Danny Smythe and he's refusing to forward my complaints to the IIU in accordance with the Police Service Act, right? That's legislation. And I come here and I bring that complaint to you guys saying they're not accepting my complaints and you guys are denying the complaints that I'm making about that, saying, well, we don't have to. So that's obviously corruption. That's, I'm gonna be doing what I can to make my complaints on that.
So I haven't read the one that you submitted today.
Yeah.
The FIPA complaint, I've forwarded over to the FIPA department.
Okay.
Basically, we have the same stance, so, if there.
Okay, but did you hear what I said? No, hear me out. FIPA. I'm alleging some damages on the government here, from corrections, prosecutions, wherever.
Right,
Okay, I came here and I said, I want these records, and I didn't have to explain myself.
right.
But I
So
did. But no, hear me out, Heather, hear me out.
Okay.
I explained myself. I'm wanting to pursue criminal liability action, whatever, right? My right. Cormier is saying, no, you're not allowed to. I'm stopping you. I'm not giving you the records. This is my reason. And I'm telling him, no, those are records made against me. I need him to pursue my civil claims. The only way for me to get these records is through Cormier. So I cannot go and press a lawsuit because Cormier is withholding these records from me because
What records are you referring to?
you guys have all my complaints. They're all there. They're all reasonable, but and when I make criminal complaints, when the person knows that I'm trying to make a criminal complaint and they're preventing me,
Great.
you get charged for that most likely. So that's
Everything that you've submitted to us, you've taken copies of, so that's why I'm unclear as to which records you're speaking of.
well, that's what I don't want to get like too confusing because you guys globalize everything and then things aren't answered, things are left out. Remember the Lear thing, the sleep device?
Right.
Well, I looked through it and you said there was no evidence. I included the report that was signed from the commissioner, so that would have been the evidence. It was put in a report. And then you guys, I looked at the letter, you guys offer no comment. You guys are denying my complaints based on email, which is not the way to do things. If I come here to the institution doing what I'm doing, I'm hoping someone doesn't get on the computer and just say no. You know what I mean? Like I need more than that. I'm alleging, again,
I
corruption
don't
here.
think any of our responses have just been no. We've
Well-
provided like all of our letters are pretty much between 6 to 8 pages and they.
No, well, no, I received the
Issues.
one or two. They're not signed from Cormier. But again, like I said, I'm going to be making criminal complaints on Cormier. I'm going to ask, like I've met previous staff, they used to show me ID and give me their business government cards. I'm not getting that anymore.
Right.
So I'm concerned, like Heather, you could be the RCMP. I'm alleging major corruption on the government, on government fraud here. And they are taking their time to make sure that this doesn't get out. So if you are an RCMP or not, it doesn't matter. Right? No, hear me out. But this is what I'm going to do because all this government fraud and cops, well, organized crime, when they commit crimes, they get their property jacked. So when government officials and cops wanted to fraud all these salaries and lie about their careers, you get what I'm saying? They are probably going to be subject to criminal forfeitures, losing all their property, plus all the identity crimes going on. Someone's manufacturing fake ID from the government to make this happen.
Right. But
So
even
with
if I
that being
showed
said-
you my ID,
Huh?
even if I showed you my ID, you could tell me that that's a fake ID.
Well,
Like,
no.
ultimately, I feel like there would be a response from you to say like, I don't believe that. So even if I showed you my ID, which I'm not going to, because I don't normally show it to complainants. Even if I did, you could just go and say, well, that's a fake ID.
Well, at least I could say, you want to know what? I met Heather. Did she have the necessary ID to say she worked at that office?
Right.
No, she refused to provide it. Why? She didn't feel comfortable. And I told, and I explained over and over that I felt like wherever I go, like across the street, CBC,
Right.
same thing. I went there with some materials and they sent out an undercover police officer posing as a reporter. So they're doing that at the news places, they're doing that everywhere else I go, they're sending me forged documents. Chances are it's probably the government and they're probably covering up the things that I'm trying to report. All I can do is, just keep being turned away and keep writing and keep complaining. And eventually when I have exhaust all of my complaint options within the government here in the province, I can hopefully move forward to bigger and better places. So with that being said, I know, like, I'm familiar with Allison's signature, their signatures that I received. So
Okay.
that's all I'm asking is if there's gonna be responses made to these complaints, to be thorough and answer the actual, or like, review the merits of the complaints itself. And if you guys are gonna be providing letters, I don't want emails, I won't accept emails no more, that's too suspicious for me. If you guys can provide your pen signatures. I don't, it doesn't matter whose name it is.
I can ask, that's not how we've been doing business, we do the electronics.
No, but like I said,
but-
I have stacks of ombudsman stuff from you guys. And in the beginning, everyone's signing. And then
Right.
up until recent time, when I'm making certain allegations about fraud,
Right.
no, that can be, that's not the way it is. I can't prove that. That's Cormier. Cormier doesn't come and meet me. The only person I get to see here is you,
Right.
right? And I know
And
what's
that's
going on.
The
is-
reason why we've brought it down to just me is because there's multiple complaints that you have. So you have a lot of.
Yeah, but
variety of
you know what
departments, so
conflicts of interest are?
I do.
So I explained to you numerous times that you guys are obstructing justice, right?
Right.
I've been making my complaints to Mr. Cormier, and well, not you, but he keeps his opinion or his decision the same. So like I'm concerned, wherever I go, Winnipeg Police, Homicide Unit, Professional Standards, LIRA, guess who's all signing? All the same last names, McDonald. It's all the same people from the same institutions, and you know why? Because I suspect you guys are all knowingly committing criminal offenses doing this. That's what I suspect. So when someone else comes to the table and says, "Hey, can you review it?" Well, they're going to offer a different probably opinion, and their opinion may be very different from Heather's, and they might say, "You know what? Heather was not doing her job at all here."
Right.
That's why I'm asking if I can get the fair treatment and procedural when people do come in here. I mean, Cormier can hide behind the fact, oh, he sent so many, but these things are going to add up, and people are going to say these were absolutely reasonable. So you guys can sit there and say, oh, he sent lots. Absolutely, he did, and all of those were reasonable. And the reason they added up so much is because you guys denied every single one. So, with that being said, I mean, Heather, I have no problem. I'm at the end stage of making my complaints against Cormier. I'm happy with the evidence that I'm able to prove is showing that I'm coming here, and
Right.
But again, if anyone's going to respond, it would be a nice thing to provide their signature. I'll let you know one more
I will
thing.
definitely put that on your file and know that that's what you prefer, no emails, and picked up your letters and written signatures, so.
Yeah, and the reason I asked about the signatures again is I made a FIPA application to the Premier months ago, last year. I got it. It was Manitoba Government. It looked approved. The government did not sign it. So Premier or whoever did not sign it. I called a few weeks ago, and the Premier's office said that they have never sent that package, and that the Manitoba Justice Department has spoken to me and said that not to talk to me, that they already spoken to me. I never spoken to the Justice Department. So again, I'm concerned, Cormier probably knows about this. City officials in the government here are committing fraud or some kind of crime here to pervert my complaints. So so we got this, and I think that pretty well covers it.
Okay, we'll review everything that you submit, we do review, but we do have the authority to not investigate if we determine that there's no new evidence or information that needs to be investigated.
Yeah.
So I just
Can
want
you-
to relay that to you one more time. I know we've met often and I've said the same thing, but under our act, we have the authority to not follow up an investigation. If
So
we
you guys do
not
know provincial legislation. You know what trumps provincial legislation, right? The Criminal Code of Canada. So even though someone in a government office may be committing crimes and they say, oh, we don't have to disclose it because look, this says we don't have to. Just because you guys are using a provincial legislation, the criminal code,
Right.
by far says, no, you guys are knowingly assisting people and get them away from criminal offenses from all levels of government here in the province. You guys are probably really corrupt here. But that's my opinion, and we'll see where it goes from there, right?
That's your opinion.
And you know what, Heather? It's not you that's going to take the fall. It's going to be the people providing their signatures, and that's why I asked Cormier if he's going to sign off on these inappropriate responses to provide a signature.
Okay.
Okay?
And I will remind you that if you do record this conversation, you don't have my consent to do so.
Yeah. No, I totally understand. Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you have a good one,
day.
Heather. Yeah, you too, and hopefully I see you soon, or don't, to see how it goes.
Okay.
All right.
You take care.
Yeah, you too. What time is it? Okay. Oh, 3 o'clock. All right, you guys have a good one. Yeah. Time is 3 o'clock. Oh, wow. That stayed on the whole time. So the time's 3 o'clock, and I'll wait. I'll wait until we go outside. See, there was no Agent Mother Goose, Lori. There was no Shelley Glover strike force sting operations on me here. I don't think there was. I didn't see Faggy Bowman. No Attorney Tara Walker. No Shimon Siegel. I'm pretty sure I got Heather's images here on the phone, so I'm able to ID her at minimum, so that's a good thing. She's a nice lady, by the way. She was a kind man. Heather is a kind man. No, I'm just joking. I like Heather. Heather's a nice lady. That's the time right now. I'm about to go outside. Order. There.